Hi everyone, my name's Kayla. I am currently in Orlando coaching a lacrosse tournament at ESPN Wild World of Disney, so I could not be part of the presentation today. But I added a video so that you guys can go ahead and learn about my parts of the slide. So for our presentation, we were talking about discipline, and the aspects that I looked at are positive and negative disciplines when it comes to coaching. As we learned in class, there are three types of coaching styles. There's the command style, the submissive style, and the cooperative style. The coaches that tend to be a lot more that tend to veer towards negative discipline are those that use the command coaching style. When athletes tend to mess up or they don't do as they're told, the coaches usually say get on the end line, and it results in some sort of running, push-ups, sprints, anything like that. They are really never told how to fix it. They're just told that they did it wrong, and then maybe down the line they're told how to fix it. This type of discipline creates sort of an atmosphere where athletes tend to be afraid of screwing up, and they don't go to their coach, ask what's wrong, or anything like that. And because they are afraid of failing so much, they put so much pressure on themselves, and it ruins the sport for them. And that's really sad to see, especially as a coach, because I never want to ruin a sport that an athlete loves just because I make them run. So that's really never a good thing. As for positive discipline, these are the coaches that usually tend to be a lot more cooperative. They are the coaches that want to be teachers. They model the behavior that they want for their athletes. So, for example, the coaches show up on time. They have a practice plan ready. They're prepared for practice, whether it's what they're wearing or, again, having a right practice plan. They communicate with the coaches beforehand so that everybody's on the same page. They're super organized, and everybody pretty much knows their expectations before practice even starts. Something else they also do is they provide clear and concise rules to all the athletes so that everybody's on the same page about what's right and wrong throughout the season. So, obviously, drinking and drugs during season, clearly wrong, and there will be punishment for that, but the athletes know that going on into it, and they will know the set discipline rules for that. Something else that is like an example is going into practice. They know that once they're on the field or on the court or anything like that, they have to be jogging to and from water breaks. If someone is walking, then the drills are going to start without them. They're not acknowledged that they're the ones walking, and we're not yelling saying, all right, so-and-so, hurry up. The drill just will start without them. And that's on them because they knew that they had to jog to and from water, but they just chose not to. Another way that coaches try to implement positive discipline is by letting the players and the leaders on the team have their input on what they want the rules. So, for example, for lacrosse, we made a rule that every time that we shoot the ball and if we hit our goalie, it's 10 burpees. Yes, that's a little bit, it's seen as negative discipline. However, we know that the cage is a 6x6 foot area, and the ball is super small, and we should not be hitting our goalie, let alone if we're hitting the goalie on opposing teams, we're not putting points up on the board, which is what we need to do to win. Again, this isn't really seen as a negative discipline just because we're the ones that are holding ourselves accountable, and we know that it's making ourselves better. We're just not doing something wrong and being told to run for it. In addition, cooperative coaches, they want their athletes to grow. They want their athletes to become the type of people that they are. Again, they want to grow. They want to make them as knowledgeable as possible in the short time that they do have with their athletes, usually 2-hour practice after school, especially during their seasons, is 5 days after school. So they want their athletes to have the best understanding of their sport. They are the ones that are on the field. They are the ones that are competing, so they need to understand everything that is going on. As a coach, I can personally tell all my athletes certain things, how to correct them all the time, but I have to be understanding that the athletes are the ones that are performing, so I need to help them as best as possible. The last main form of positive discipline that I found and that I personally know is complimenting the athletes. I touched on it a little bit earlier, but when athletes do the wrong thing, just ignore it. It doesn't really do anything acknowledging and completely repeating yourself every single time or stopping what you're saying to tell someone to stop talking. Just ignore them and compliment the girls that are doing the things right, that are making the good catches, making the good shots and stuff like that, because that's the type of behavior that we want to continue and that we want to see. It's a little bit of positive reinforcement just to keep the good actions going. So, overall, discipline in sports started out a lot more as a negative because it was that command style that kind of came from the military, But as time is going on and sports and athletes and coaches are all growing and advancing, it's becoming a lot more positive.